Learning even any language, even a little bit, can literally change your life inside and outside.
Find something that you love doing in that language.
It's not something you have to do, it's something you want to do.
الفيديو اللي فات عملنا مقابلات بالعربي بلهجات مختلفة، والنهاردة هنكمل بس بالإنجليزي أو بلغات تانية. في الفيديو ده هتشوفوا نصايح وقصص مضحكة ومؤثرة للناس. تعلم اللغات يمثل جزء مهم من حياتها اليومية.
لو هتدي نصيحة واحدة لحد بيتعلم لغة هتبقى ايه؟
I would say to focus on the process and not focus on the goal. So a lot of people are obsessed with speaking fluently, right? There's this word that is being thrown around. When am I going to get fluent? First of all, you have to define fluency. Then you have to understand what you really want from a foreign language. And then you have to focus on the process. So my piece of advice would be, first, get really crystal clear about what you want with this language. Is it for reading? Is it for speaking? Is it for listening? And then focus on the process, meaning focus on finding what works for you and focus on trying to spend at least 15 to 30 minutes learning the language through strategies that you like, and most of all, have fun. It's not something you have to do, it's something you want to do. If you move from having to do something to I want to do something every day, then you will not only do it every day, but you will enjoy the process and you will focus on the process. So you will focus on, oh, today I want to learn language at 5 p.m. instead of when am I going to get fluent in, say, German. And that is a big mindset shift because most people give up because they focus too much on something they still do not have. It's like walking, you see the mountain up there and you constantly think about reaching the peak once you haven't, and you haven't reached that peak yet. It's discouraging and tiring. Well, instead of that, you just walk one step after the other, then you look back on and off and you look at the landscape and you enjoy the stretch you've covered rather than thinking about the stretch you still have to cover.
I would say find something that you love doing in that language. Maybe if it could be something new, it could be a new hobby that you've never tried before. Try and find something that you just enjoy doing and you kind of exclusively do it in that language. Or maybe it could be a person you have a conversation with, and that way you have some emotional connection to this language in order to motivate you to keep going, to keep learning the language. Yeah, I would say find that connection.
The main tip I would give is keep contact with the language as much as you can. It doesn't matter what you do as much as doing something. So even if it's 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, even if it is watching a video, listening to a song, or talking to a friend in a convoluted way, that counts, and that's way more important than using X or Y method. So learning a language doesn't have to be something that creates a mental barrier. It should be something enjoyable. And otherwise, we polyglots would not be learning as many languages because you have to make the process enjoyable. So try to make sure that whatever you do it with a smile and you like doing it, even if it's difficult maybe at first. But the moment you realize that you can do a lot of things, you can access a lot of extra layers than the average person that doesn't know the language would never get the possibility to access, then you know that it's something valuable. So try to do something every single day and try to make that something fun enough for you to be consistently doing it over time.
Definitely to practice. If I could give one tip to people who wanted to learn a language, it would be definitely to practice. In a lot of languages, there's a saying like this. Like, for example, in English, we say practice makes perfect. And I don't know, German, you say üben macht den Meister. And I think it's a really essential part of learning any languages, or anything really. I mean, speaking a language is this really complicated, sophisticated coordination of your mouth and your tongue and your mind at the same time. And it's kind of like playing an instrument or playing a sport where you have to practice it to really make it intuitive. You start with this maybe logical understanding of the language, but with time you practice until it becomes automatic. And I think it's an essential part of the process and one that a lot of people skip. Maybe they just learn vocab or practice memorizing vocabulary, but never go out and actually talk to people. So that's what I'd say is probably the most important part.
ايه موقف مضحك حصل لك وانت بتتكلم اللغة؟
There's a lot of very funny moments. In particular, I remember one, it didn't happen to me, but it happened to a friend of mine. And what happened is that he went to a restaurant and he asked for, est-ce que je peux avoir des salopes? which, you know, he made a strange request. He wanted to ask, est-ce que je peux avoir des escalopes? So there's many of these things that happen. It happened to me a lot of times. There's so many that I can't remember one, but I do remember the one of my friend who told me, and it was just hilarious.
I don't know if this is the funniest, but I remember a frustrating and slightly funny moment in like my first month in Spain. I was looking for a curry spice and I was asking in the shop in Mercadona, I was asking for curry. I said, ¿Tenéis curry? And they didn't understand me. And it took about 10 minutes for them to say, curry. And I was like, oh, I didn't know it was so different. But yeah, that was pretty funny, frustrating. And I ended up getting what I wanted after a bit of toing and froing.
Not the funniest moment, but probably the best memory I have of speaking a foreign language is getting drunk in the hills of Georgia because of the fact that I spoke Russian. And I was able to make say this toast and announce it myself in Russian. I know it's not the most family-friendly thing that I could say, but it's one of the things that I will never forget.
أنا أفكر عن أول يوم لما كنت في الأردن. من 3 سنين رحت في الشرق الأوسط. أنا كنت في مصر، الأردن ولبنان. ولما وصلت الأردن أنا رحت في مطعم وكنت عايز أكل أي حاجة. فطلبت خمس وبابا غنوج. أكل وصلت على الترابيزة بس ما كانش في عيش وكنت عايز أكل عيش مع الهمس مع البابا غنوج. فطلبت عيش. أنا قلت إيه يا فندم عيش لو سمحت. هو إيه أنت عايز عيش؟ أنت بدك عيش؟ قالوا أنا عايز عيش لو سمحت. هو وأنا كمان.
في أي موقف له علاقة باللغات أو تعلمها أثر فيك؟
When I was in Russia, and I managed to speak in Russian with a babushka, so a grandmother, who could only speak Russian, obviously because in the generation it was difficult to learn other languages, and she told me about the great patriotic war that happened against Nazi Germany, and that was a moving moment where I discovered that, you know, learning foreign languages, being able to communicate with people allows you also to travel in time, travel in space, get into contact with different realities, with a different universe. And that was a privilege and a luxury. Learning even any language, even a little bit, can literally change your life inside and outside. And it is, as I said before, the inside part is the most interesting one.
I feel like this event is like the most special language learning experience that I've had so far, the Polyglot Gathering. Just because there are so many people in similar situations and also different situations, but have still similarities, and we connect on some level, even if they have a way higher level in a certain language. I still feel that we connect by trying at least to speak the same language, or yeah, I think that's special.
I would say late night talks when people, you know, as they have in English, this expression, a heart to heart. Like when you talk to somebody about things that you could not in another language, that's something that you really appreciate. I don't know, talking about difficult things like word, like live, like, you know, day-to-day things that you could probably not speak about unless it's in your native language, and the fact that you speak to those people in their native language makes them open up so much to be able to talk about those things.
To me, was very significant was when I went to Poland and I visited the village where all my Polish ancestors came from. Yo tengo un apellido polaco que no es muy común, y durante toda mi vida, pues yo y también mi familia creíamos que este apellido fue no solamente algo inventado cuando mis antepasados llegaron à Estados Unidos, hace 100 ans. Mais l'année dernière, j'ai fait beaucoup de recherches sur ma famille et j'ai trouvé beaucoup d'informations de l'histoire de comment les gens de ma famille sont allés de la Pologne aux États-Unis, où ils sont arrivés, où ils ont vécu. Und wir haben auch herausgefunden, wo sie stammen, also die Namen des Dorfs. Und ja, ich bin hingegangen und habe dieses Dorf besucht und habe meinen Nachnamen auf alle die Grabsteine gesehen. Das war das erste Mal in meinem Leben, dass ich diese Nachname gesehen habe. Und ich habe auch ein bisschen mit den Menschen gesprochen. Mein Polnisch ist nicht so gut, aber ich könnte sagen mindestens cześć, ja, jestem tutaj, bo jestem Polakiem. Moje pradziadkowie pochodzili na wsi niedaleko Rzeszowa. Moje nazwisko jest polskie nazwisko. Spotkałeś kiedyś kogoś o takim nazwisku? And talking with people and asking them this, I found out that some people actually did know other people with my last name, and that was just really cool to find that sense of belonging somewhere in the world that I didn't expect to find it.
دي كانت 3 أسئلة بس، وفي الفيديو الجاي هنعرض عليكم أسئلة تانية زي إزاي متعددين اللغات بيحافظوا على اللغات اللي بيتكلموها، وهل شخصياتهم بتتغير في كل لغة. قول لنا إيه أكتر موقف مضحك أو محرج حصل لك بسبب لغة؟ اكتب لنا في الكومنتات، وما تنساش تعمل سبسكرايب ولايك لو عجبك الفيديو.